Professors are spending massive amounts of money on bus stops to cure climate change. Yale University is mandating a 1-month quarantine period for any student returning to campus this spring, and students at Boston University are coming after Chick-Fil-A in the latest episode of Cancel Culture. I'm Ophelie Jacobson, and this is the Campus Countdown. We've got a lot to unpack in this episode today. Our number 3 story is an expensive one. Professors at the University of California, Los Angeles are spending nearly $1 million on designing bus stops. But apparently, these aren't your typical bus stops because these are actually cooling structures that can help combat climate change. Greta Thunberg would be so proud. 10 UCLA professors won a $956,000 prize from the Anthony and Jean Pritzker Family Foundation. The professors from engineering, urban planning, public health, and environmental law studies will work together to address the rapid increase in the number of extreme heat days in Los Angeles. According to a UCLA press release, quote, "The project called Heat Resilient LA will over the next 2 years determine where and when people moving around the city are most vulnerable to the effects of extreme heat, a problem caused by climate change, and assesses which communities most need cooling interventions." It might just be me, but I'm a little confused as to how building a bus stop will help combat climate change. I mean, who knew it was that easy? And if these people really wanted to enact change and make a difference in the environment, you would think that they would turn to calling their representatives to draft legislation and help in the policy-making process. Or here's an idea, maybe their great governor Gavin Newsom would be more than happy to help out. Keep in mind that the University of California, Los Angeles is a public university, which means taxpayers are funding these professors' salaries and they're building bus stops. What they should be doing instead is teaching in the classroom because these students are going to be the next generation of leaders. Nowadays, climate change activists are using everything in their power to try to make a difference. For example, at Harvard, a group of professors is trying to bring back the woolly mammoth to combat climate change. And at the University of London, they banned the sale of hamburgers to prevent global warming. And now they're saying that bus stops will help. What's next? Moving on to our next story, Yale University is mandating 1 month of quarantine for its students who are returning to campus this spring semester. You would think that by being an Ivy League school, Yale University would pay close attention to what the experts have to say. And according to CDC guidelines, a quarantine of 14 days is sufficient, and even 10 days now is long enough as long as no symptoms have been reported during daily monitoring. And even last semester, Yale University created a 14-day mandate of quarantine for its students. So why are they increasing the number of days now that we have multiple vaccines in the works and, people are getting vaccinated across this country? We're making progress towards defeating the pandemic. Why increase the number of days now? So let's take a step back and analyze this new plan from Yale. There are 3 phases to it. Phase 1 requires a negative pre-arrival COVID test from the students before coming to campus. Phase 2 limits students to their residential college and courtyard. And Phase 3 allows students to leave their residential college, but they must stay on campus grounds. So these students essentially aren't allowed to leave the campus grounds until March 1st. And if a student dares try to leave campus during this period of time, they will be brought before the Compact Review Committee for their violations, and their access to campus may be even taken away. I also think that it's important to recognize that part of the college experience is spent off campus, engaging with the local community and enjoying the college town that you're living in for 4 years. This college is getting rid of that opportunity for students to enjoy their college experience to the fullest extent. And not to mention the multiple studies that have shown that quarantines and lockdown periods drastically affect mental health. I mean, what will this 1 month of quarantine do for those students who already have to deal with their classes, homework, maybe even a job? How will that affect their mental health? In our number 1 story of the week, college students are coming after the home of the original chicken sandwich. That's right, a Boston University student newspaper is calling for the removal of Chick-Fil-A off their campus. The op-ed also stated that, quote, Chick-fil-A has deep-seated homophobia. It has been caught multiple times donating to anti-LGBTQ charities and organizations. In 2017, $1.8 million went toward the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Salvation Army, and the Paul Anderson Youth Home. But let's just take a minute here to visit the Salvation Army's website. And what you'll find is a whole page dedicated to supporting the LGBTQ community. And I'm sure everyone remembers back in 2020 when rumors were spread that Chick-fil-A resumed its donations to organizations that only supported traditional marriage. Those rumors were in fact false. According to an article by USA Today, Chick-fil-A did not resume those donations. In fact, they even pledged to donate to nonprofits serving the Black community. But regardless of who they donate to, keep in mind that Chick-fil-A is a private company and they have the right to donate to whatever company they would like. And I think it's pretty well known that Chick-fil-A is a company based on Christian values. They're closed on Sundays and they support organizations with the same beliefs that they have. And unfortunately, this is nothing new for Chick-fil-A specifically. Colleges and universities have been coming after Chick-fil-A for years. For example, the University of Kansas hosted an art contest for students to express their anger over a Chick-fil-A on campus. Rider University refused to bring the fast food chain to campus despite students' demands, and the student government at Trinity University voted to remove Chick-fil-A from its campus dining halls altogether. Cancel culture is becoming more and more absurd. First it was the statues, then it was a bean company, and now it's a fast food restaurant selling chicken nuggets. It seems as if the left is finding every single excuse to play its game of cancel culture, and Chick-fil-A just happens to be the next card on the table. And keep in mind, these students are attending these higher education institutions and paying thousands of dollars to go there in order to study and to gain a degree. But it seems as if instead of studying and doing their homework, these students are too busy writing op-eds about chicken. Those are all the top stories we have for you this week. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Campus Reform to keep up with all of the college craziness happening across the nation. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Campus Countdown. But for now, I'm Ophelie Jacobson. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go finish my Chick-fil-A.